Coming up on OC News, we have team coverage of tonight's Democratic debate.
Plus, we give you the latest with coronavirus and everything going on with it.
Then, a 20-year-old rapper was killed in his Hollywood Hills home this morning. We have the story. All this and more, OC News starts right now.
Hello and thank you for joining us at OC News. I'm Marina Rodriguez.
And I'm Justina Hernandez. OC News is brought to you by the broadcast journalism students at Cal State Fullerton.
Last-minute preparations are underway at the Paris Theater in Las Vegas. The Democratic presidential debate takes place in less than an hour. 6 candidates have qualified for the televised debate, including businessman Michael Bloomberg. This is Bloomberg's first time on the debate stage with the other presidential candidates. The hour show will air on NBC, MSNBC, and Telemundo starting at 6 p.m. The debate could have an impact on Nevada caucus on Saturday. We have the team coverage tonight on the debate and the candidates. In our own Gunner Text area will provide us the detail with Bloomberg and the political polling numbers. But first we have with Kana Itaka, who is live on the campus at Cal State Fullerton with reactions from students and what they are hoping to hear in tonight's debate. Kana?
Right now, we're asking students what are their thoughts
They're going to watch it right now.
Las Vegas Democrats debating that is happening tonight. Let's find out what they have to say about it.
It takes to reimagine healthcare is probably you probably need more than a 60-second soundbite.
I'm looking forward to my preferred candidate is Bernie Sanders, so I look forward to him kind of holding the other Democratic frontrunner, Michael Bloomberg, accountable.
Hope that in general we can maybe look for understanding each other, forward to listening with an open mind and seeing what they have to say. Although probably we'll vote in a different direction.
Okay, here Kana Itagaki, reporter for OC News. Now let's go back to the Gunners, back to the studio.
Who had Bernie Sanders on to be able to articulate what it takes.
Thank you, Kana. Now it's time to settle the debate on what is happening in the world of politics. We have the coverage of all the candidates still standing going into the presidential debate, questions on some of the candidates' health, and the newest candidate joining the race. Mayor Mike Bloomberg will be making his first debut of the presidential candidacy with this upcoming debate, with some serious questions of the new New York mayor as a candidate. Our own CNN reporter MJ Lee has it all.
And the Democratic establishment is getting nervous.
Tonight, Bernie Sanders is feeling the momentum. On the eve of the Nevada debate, a new national poll showing the Vermont senator rising to 31%, with a double-digit lead ahead of his Democratic rivals.
And they're trying to figure out all kinds of ways, how do we stop Bernie and the movement? But they are not going to succeed.
And there is another White House candidate gaining traction, billionaire Michael Bloomberg. The former New York City mayor placing second in the NPR PBS NewsHour Marist poll at 19%, qualifying for his first 2020 debate. Elizabeth Warren already taking aim at Bloomberg's debate inclusion, writing on Twitter, "It's a shame Mike Bloomberg can buy his weight into the debate. But at least now, primary voters curious about how each candidate will take on Donald Trump can get a live demonstration of how we each take on an egomaniac billionaire." Sources telling CNN Bloomberg's top advisors are playing his rivals in mock debate sessions, including Sanders, Warren, and Pete Buttigieg. Bloomberg advisors expecting to be targeted on numerous policy positions, his record as mayor, and allegations of sexist and misogynistic remarks.
He's going to talk about his record, Brianna. He's going to talk about what he has done to fight for gender equality for 30 years. Mike has never tolerated discrimination or harassment at his company.
As tensions rise between the two men, Bloomberg's campaign releasing a digital video, slamming the aggressive online tactics used by some Sanders supporters.
It is vitally important for those of us who hold different views to be able to engage in a civil discourse.
And Sanders hitting Bloomberg's record as mayor.
We say to Mr. Bloomberg, you are certainly not going to win when you have a record in New York City that included racist policies like stop and frisk.
Meanwhile, the 2020 Democratic candidates delivering their closing pitches to Nevada voters.
Thank you for being in this fight. I want to beat Donald Trump, and I need your help to do it.
As the state's Democratic Party hopes to avoid the chaos that plagued the Iowa caucuses.
We're feeling very confident. We've had our heads down working around the clock the last 3 weeks, and we feel very good, very confident.
Thanks, MJ. Now we have some even more recent statistics about these Democratic candidates. Check it out. CNN Poll of Polls reports that earlier this week, Senator Bernie Sanders is in the lead with 28%, with former Vice President Joe Biden in second at 16%. Surprisingly, new kid on the block, Mayor Bloomberg, is already in third place at 15%. Now, Mayor Bloomberg is holding that third place spot ahead of Senator Warren and Mayor Buttigieg, who have been presidential candidates for far longer. How he will handle this presidential debate is anyone's guess. Finally, everyone is wondering if a certain presidential candidate is even healthy enough to be our next president. Ryan Nobles has all the facts on Bernie Sanders' health and his thoughts on everyone's concerns for him. Ryan?
Bernie Sanders is facing new questions over his health.
I feel very good, thank you.
After suffering a heart attack last fall, Sanders pledged to release his medical records before the primary. In late December, he released 3 letters from doctors who treated him that included a summary of the senator's health and some test results. At Tuesday night's CNN town hall, Sanders said that's as far as he plans to go.
Just to be clear, you don't plan to release any more records?
I don't think we will, no.
That after telling CNN this in October, just days after his heart attack.
At the appropriate time, all of our medical records public for you or for anybody else who wants to see them.
A Sanders spokeswoman telling CNN today that additional requests for the Vermont senator's medical records are unfair.
And what you're seeing right now is really reminiscent of some of the kind of smear, kind of skepticism campaigns that have been run against a lot of different candidates in the past.
Then going further by distorting Michael Bloomberg's past heart issues.
It's really telling, given that none of the same concern is being demonstrated for Michael Bloomberg, who's the same age as Bernie Sanders, who has suffered heart attacks in the past.
That's not true. Bloomberg underwent a coronary stent replacement in 2000 for a blocked artery, but did not have a heart attack. Bloomberg's campaign firing back, calling the statement a, quote, absolute lie, and saying facts matter. This isn't the way we defeat Donald Trump in November. Sanders' press secretary later tweeting that she misspoke, but the back and forth comes as Bloomberg and Sanders prepare to face off on the debate stage for the first time tonight. Both candidates are 78 and would be the oldest president ever elected to a first term. Bloomberg released a letter from his doctor in December saying he was, quote, in outstanding health with, quote, no medical concerns present or looming that would prevent him from serving as president of the United States. And Sanders' doctor's letter says that he is, quote, in good health currently, and that engaging vigorously in the rigors of your campaign, travel, and other scheduled activities without any limitation.
You think I'm not in good health? Come on out with me on the campaign trail, and I'll let you introduce me to the 3 or 4 rallies a day that we do. How's that?
Wow. Lots of things are happening in the world of politics. But for now, that's all we have. Make sure you keep watching to stay up to date, and make sure you register to vote. I'm Gunnar Texera. Back to you ladies at the table.
A motorcyclist was killed last Tuesday night after crashing close to the on-ramp of the 73 freeway bordering Newport Beach and Irvine. The crash took place at a little before 10:15 p.m. and was immediately called into highway patrol by passerby. The freeway was blocked for quite some time while a coroner arrived on the scene. There have been no new updates confirming the identity of the cyclist at this time.
Two teenagers were arrested in Porterville for starting a fatal fire at the Porterville Library that took the life of one firefighter and another unknown whereabouts. Captain Ryan Figueroa, who has been with the Porterville Fire Department since 2007, was killed while putting out the fire, and firefighter Patrick Jones has been missing since the tragedy. The 2 boys were seen running away from the inferno and are now facing manslaughter, arson, and conspiracy charges, according to the police chief, Eric Cordo. Library employees noticed a children's section in Flag first before calling 911. Porterville Library was built in 1953 and held over 77,000 books.
Up next, we have an update on the coronavirus with an emotional family reunion.
Then find out how you are able to enjoy a glimpse into Whitney Houston and her live performance. All that and more next on OC News.
My mother was always very familiar with her neighborhood, but one day she stopped at the stop sign for much longer than usual. And she didn't know whether she should go forward or turn, and she wasn't even really sure where she was at. It was very unsettling for her.
I felt so much better after my son told me, Mom, I don't want you to worry or be afraid. I'll be there for you, and we'll figure it out.
If I could go back and change it all, I would. I think I'm gonna miss you the most. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Or maybe it's just the little moments. If I could go back and change it all, if I could go back, I would. But I can't.
After a month of being apart, a Wisconsin father is reunited with his family who were quarantined as a precaution against the coronavirus. CNN reporter Lucy Kavanaugh shares this emotional moment.
That's it. For Sam Roth, it's a day that couldn't come soon enough. Arriving in California with his 11-month-old daughter's car seat, waiting to be reunited with his family after a month apart.
Just anxious at the moment. Looking forward to seeing them.
His wife, Daisy, and daughters Abigail and Adeline were released from Travis Air Force Base after spending 2 weeks in quarantine. Shuttled by bus to San Francisco Airport.
Bus stop 21. You know where that is?
Sam's wait getting a little longer. Unclear where the family got dropped off. Finally, the moment they had all been waiting for.
Give Mommy a hug. Found you.
Reunited as a family of 4 at last.
So now you're back. How does it feel?
It feels good to be together as a family.
Just glad to see you.
Yeah.
Just glad to be back together with the family.
Their ordeal began on January 23rd, 2 days after Daisy and the girls arrived in the Chinese city of Wuhan to spend time with her family.
I woke up and I received a message from my phone. It's like the whole city got to lock down. And I was like, what?
It's pajama time. They spent days cooped up in Daisy's parents' home, under lockdown in a city, afraid to leave the apartment. 5-year-old Abigail keeping her baby sister entertained, putting on a brave face despite the fear.
Scary. What was scary about it?
That I had to stay in.
The State Department began evacuating Americans out of Wuhan, but because Daisy isn't a U.S. citizen, the family wasn't sure she'd be able to leave.
Yeah, I think only like when we passed the custom, then I know, okay, we're good.
Grateful to be back on American soil, happy that the quarantine is now behind them, but mindful of loved ones left behind in Wuhan.
It doesn't really feel like it's over, and as long as Wuhan is still under lockdown and her family's there, this is a milestone getting our family back together, but it's definitely not the end of the road for the people that we love.
Unfortunately, the coronavirus is still affecting many families today, but thankfully it did not defeat this one.
Longtime Elle magazine columnist E. Jean Carroll was fired for a damaged reputation on the rape accusation against President Donald Trump that occurred last year. Carroll announced on Twitter her termination with a well-known fashion magazine and holds Trump responsible for her departure. Carroll tweets, quotes, "Because Trump ridiculed my reputation, laughed at my looks, and dragged me through the mud after 26 years, Elle magazine fired me. I don't blame Elle. It was a great honor of me writing as E. Jean. I blame @real Donald Trump." Carroll sued Trump for defamation back in November for a sexual assault incident that happened nearly 20 years ago in the department store in New York City. Carroll mentions her assault allegations in her book, What Do We Need Men For?, that was published in 2019 in New York Magazine. Trump denies all accusations made on him against Carroll and defamates her by calling her a liar prior to his presidency.
You have probably heard about the California Real ID, but do you know why you need it and when? As our reporter Genesis Osuna tells us, a trip to the DMV just might be in your future.
What is the California Real ID and why is everybody talking about it?
Well, the Real ID is not just a new and improved identification card, it is served for security purposes. The Real ID Act started in 2005 following the terrorist attacks on 9/11. We have some folks already at the DMV lined up ready to get their California Real ID.
I feel that the Real ID is important because it gives us freedom to travel worldwide.
Now, why is everybody talking about it? Because it does have a deadline. The deadline in California is October 1st, 2020. When you are ready to obtain your Real ID, you will need to fulfill a couple requirements. The first one is proof of identity. It could either be a passport, a green card, or a birth certificate. Number 2 is your social security number. If you do not have the card, you could bring your W-2 form or a 1099 form. Number 3 is proof of residency, and that will work with a utility bill, your mortgage, or a lease. The DMV will also require you to take a new photo as well as a thumbprint. Now, like I said, October 1st, 2020 is the deadline for Californians. So if you are planning to travel or to visit any military bases or nuclear power plants, you will need to have a Real ID after October 1st, 2020.
For many of us, Uber is frequently used app for our everyday lives. Safety should be our #1 priority, and Uber has released their update version on their safety guidelines. Uber is improving their safety regulations by providing customers with a new tool that will allow riders to report non-emergency safety incidents. When an uncomfortable situation arises, you can open up the Uber app and find the safety toolkit button. Click on the report safety issue to report the situation, then a short description of the situation. The driver will not see the description you wrote. When you are done, click Submit to Send. The Uber report over Uber's safety team and a member from the team will contact you. After the trip, you go over the incident. This is definitely a step in the right direction towards safety. Uber is becoming more considerate and aware, which will make the riders feel more comfortable throughout their commutes.
Stay tuned for all things entertainment and a look into a commemoration honoring Selena and the 25th anniversary of her death.
Also an emotional story including a violinist performing during a brain surgery. All that and more next on OC News.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move. So I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
The world of entertainment had so much to speak about this weekend, but don't worry, we got you covered with the best of the best this weekend. Marina, please give us the scoop of the week.
Thank you, Justina. Here are the latest news in the entertainment world. In very tragic news, New York-based rapper Pop Smoke has been killed in a home invasion at a Hollywood Hills home this morning. The 20-year-old rapper has been enjoying his success of his sophomore album, which was released last week. Law enforcement received a phone call from the East Coast at 5 a.m. indicating that their friend's house had been broken into. The individual had been in contact with someone inside the home. When police arrived, they found a man shot. He was transferred to Cedars-Sinai Medical Center in Los Angeles, where he was later pronounced dead. According to LAPD, 2 to 6 people broke into the home wearing masks and armed with handguns. Pop Smoke is known for his summer hit mixtape, Meet the Who, including the smash hit Welcome to the Party. Our deepest condolences go out to his family. May he rest in peace. Whitney Houston fans missed your opportunity to watch her in concert? Well, wait no more. The Whitney Houston hologram concert is coming to you. The tour will begin Tuesday with his first stop in Seinfeld, England. The image of Houston will be projected center stage to mimic the music legend's live performance. The live concert is compiled with the singer's music hits, a live band, a backup singer-dancer, and North American tour dates have been announced yet, but it's rumored dates will be coming out pretty soon. The queen of Tex-Mex, Selena Quintanilla's spirit continues to live with her music and her famous washing machine dancing moves. Her sister Suzette Quintanilla recently announced a massive tribute concert in San Antonio, Texas on May 9th. 25 years after death, the Tejano music superstar will be honored by multiple Hispanic performers, including Los Tucanes de Tijuana, Evin Quintanilla III, y Los Cumbia All-Stars. Becky G and many more will be announced in later dates. The family had an offer from different cities in Texas and California to host a concert tribute, but according to Suzette, San Antonio holds a special place in their heart and also in one of Selena's favorite cities. The concert will also include a Selena-themed laser theme presented by H-E-B stores. Ticket sales have not started yet, but Selena fans make sure to stay up to date with all the latest news on the amazing tribute concert. I know I will be patiently waiting. This is all I have for you guys with entertainment news. Now, back to you, Justina.
Thank you. And a brain surgery took place at King's College Hospital in London that looked like something from an episode from Grey's Anatomy. The patient is a violinist known as Dagmar Turner. The procedure is known as awake brain surgery, and it's intended to make sure the operation doesn't impact the 53-year-old concert violinist's ability to play. Doctors successfully removed Turner's brain tumor without damaging her music talent. Miraculously, she's out of the hospital and is recovering at home. She's expected to return and play at the Isle of Wight Symphony Orchestra in the near future.
Can you imagine being in that surgery room?
No, I can't, but imagine actually getting distracted by her playing and accidentally poking something. It's just
horrible. Thanks for watching this week's show. Tune in every Monday and Wednesday at 5 p.m.
Make sure you follow us on our social media platforms at OC News CSUF for more updates. Thanks again and have a great night.